2010 is cause for a big celebration for the King. It's the year-long celebration of Elvis Presley's 75th birthday. The grand opening of Elvis Presley Fashion King began at the beginning of March at Graceland. The exhibit is the first of its kind at Elvis's home in Memphis and explores fashion trends ushered in by the King of Rock and Roll. Now with us here today to talk about the exhibit is Angie Marchese, the Director of Archives at Graceland. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And you can tell what we have before us is some amazing artifacts of Elvis's. Now, what kind of fashion can people see of Elvis's there?
We actually have opened 3 new exhibits, and 2 of them really deal with Elvis's fashion. We have Elvis Presley Fashion King that you mentioned, and that is all about his personal sense of style. It really is like walking into Elvis's closet and looking at what Elvis would wear out on the town to the movies and things like that.
Very nice.
And we also have a jumpsuit exhibit. It's called Design Evolution, and that's kind of the evolution of Elvis's stage costumes.
Okay.
And in fact, this cape that you see
yes,
here.
Show us this. Oh, wow.
It was worn by Elvis in 1974 in Memphis, actually. It's the King of Spades cape. It goes with the jumpsuit, and it weighs about 30 pounds.
Wow.
Of course, the capes and belts were a mid-70s trend on Elvis's stage wear versus just the very simple jumpsuits from the earlier 70s.
Sure.
It's wool gabardine. It's all lined in satin.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And Elvis, when he was wearing this costume in Memphis, he actually recorded a live album and won his last Grammy for the song How Great Thou Art. Yeah.
Very, very cool. That's awesome. How do you feel like he changed fashion?
Elvis, he changed fashion all the way back in the 50s. I mean, and the really amazing thing about Elvis is that he never really tried to purposely set out to set trends. You know, even with his hair, I mean, he was flipping his collars up in high school before he was even Elvis Presley.
Right.
And the reason why he did that is because he thought his neck was too long. Wow. And so, I mean, he just wore what he thought was cool, you
Very
know.
nice.
And it happened to be a little edgy, you know, right. Especially in the 50s, the pink and the black, you know. Not many men were wearing those colors. And it was just his taste and style, you know. And the amazing thing about Elvis is that once people saw Elvis doing it, they would follow suit.
So how are the clothes and his other artifacts, how are they kept intact?
We have about 1/10 of our collection actually on exhibit. The majority of our collection we keep in storage. We have a climate-controlled storage facility. It's humidity and climate-controlled. Everything is cataloged and stored in acid-free boxes with acid-free tissue.
Wow.
For preservation's sake. And we also rotate things off and on exhibit. So that's like the fashion exhibit, which is going to be up for 2 years. Now those items, a lot of them have never been on display before. Some of them have, but those items will be up for 2 years, and then they will be off exhibit, and be back in the archives for probably at least another 2 years before we rotate them back out again.
Wow. How do you clean them?
Very carefully.
I bet. Oh my gosh.
Yes. We use light suction vacuum through mesh for the clothing and things like that.
Wow.
So yeah, we're very careful with them. The amazing thing about our collection, or really the unique thing, is that it's a relatively young collection, speaking in museum terms.
Sure.
People are preserving, 100-year-old silks, and we've got 1970 polyester,
right?
And so a lot of time, we really don't have that many preservation issues. As you can see with the cape, this cape is over almost 40 years old, and it just is in beautiful condition.
That is so neat. Tell us what we have on our table here.
Well, one of the exhibits that we opened that I haven't mentioned yet is from Tupelo to Memphis, and that's all about Elvis's childhood and growing up in Tupelo and moving to Memphis in 1948. And we've got a few things from that, including Elvis's report card.
Wow.
This is his 7th grade report card.
Wow.
It would be the last one he had when he was in Tupelo.
I think he did pretty good.
You can see he was very reliable and very cooperative and very courteous. And on the back, you can look at his grades, and he was good in physical education and in spelling, not so hot in English or in science, but he did pretty good,
He didn't need any of that.
And then this is of Elvis's crayon box.
Wow.
Which is really amazing because it's like everyone has the first grade crayon box.
Yeah.
And just like any other kid, Elvis wrote his name in it in red crayon, as you can see. And it's something that his mom saved. And it's something that any mom really saves. And so it really kind of puts that personal side, that personal touch to the collection.
I know. That is so neat. A comb?
The comb obviously goes to the fashion exhibit, talks about style, and it refers to Elvis's hair hair. Obviously, in the 50s, his hair was very much part of his style.
Definitely.
And his sense of being, and influenced really by Tony Curtis.
Huh.
That was one of his influences for his hairstyle. But the comb just kind of sums it all
Sure.
up. And there's lots of pictures of him in the 50s with the comb in his pocket, you know, as he's walking around and things. So that kind of represents Elvis's fashion hairstyle.
This ring is huge.
Yes, this is the TCB ring. Nowadays, people would call all this stuff bling.
Yeah.
Elvis didn't know what bling was, but
Right.
this ring has his 16 carats in diamonds.
Wow.
Solitaire in the center is 11.5 carats.
Whoa.
Elvis had it custom made in 1975.
Huh.
TCB was his logo. It stood for Taking Care of Business in a Flash. It cost Elvis $35,000 when he had it made.
Oh my goodness. And I'm sure it would be even more today.
Yes, today everything's considered priceless because it's really irreplaceable.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And his shoe, of course.
Yes, the shoe. This is actually from the early 60s. It's a black suede shoe, customized with Elvis's initials right there on a brass plate, EP. He wore a size 12D shoe. This shoe was actually worn on stage in a concert in Memphis.
Very nice.
Yes. And then the cross.
Yes.
It contains 121 quarter-cut diamonds in it.
Oh my gosh.
And Elvis would wear that not only on stage but also off stage. So
He definitely likes some jewels.
he loves some jewels, and we have most of the jewelry in our collection is actually on exhibit as part of the fashion exhibit, and along with other accessories, including hats and scarves, ties, and even a couple of guns and badges, because where Elvis is concerned, a gun was more of an accessory.
Oh my gosh.
You never leave home without it,
Yes.
and so we do have a couple of his favorite guns on display as well as part of the fashion exhibit.
Yes. Now, tell us then, when people go to Graceland, they can go into his house, they can go into the gardens. Is that right?
Yes. When you come to Graceland, it's about a 3-hour, 4-hour actual experience, or you can spend all day.
Wow.
You get to tour the house, which is like a time capsule. You walk through the door, and it really is just like Elvis has just gotten up and has just left the house and gone out. I mean, the house is very much open, and you see all the furnishings, everything in there's original, and it's got that homey feeling where you could actually see Elvis almost sitting on the couch, you know, putting his feet on the coffee table, playing the guitar, or something like that. So yeah, you get to see the house, and then you get to walk around the back part of the property and go to the trophy building where we kind of explain Elvis's career. And that's where you get a lot of your factual information about Elvis's career, and you get to see all the gold records.
Very nice.
And the last stop on the mansion grounds is the gardens where Elvis and his family are buried. And then you go back to our visitor center where we have cars and airplanes and the fashion exhibit. And we've got an Elvis in Hollywood exhibit also that's currently up about his Hollywood career.
Nice.
So lots of stuff to see and do at Graceland.
Nice, nice. What is your website?
Elvis.com. It's
There
the
we
coolest
go.
website you could possibly have.
Very much
Yes.
so. This is amazing. So you guys need to check this out. Graceland is a place to see it for sure. Thank you so much, Angie.
Thanks for having me.